Somewhere in quaint New England, the fire of fall closes in on a white steeple as the world turns blue. And while this trip to northern Vermont was jam-packed with beautiful autumn experiences, it was this moment, at the very end of our trip, that I can't get out of my head. It was nearing mid-October when we filled my 1965 Ford pickup truck with all our road trip supplies and a full tank of gasoline and headed north through the Rainbow Hills to a Mountaintop cabin. The foliage was nearing peak in our southern New England hills, and we wondered if it would hold strong up north or if we had just missed it. And when our usual northern road trip lunch spot was too packed, we went across the street for some great fresh pizza and a surprise fall market under the yellow maples. And then onward to the great north. And no matter how behind schedule we get, we always make a point to stop at the roadside stands and get the seasonal treats, as autumn in New England is about far more than just the sights. And it's the tiny moments when you stop to stretch your legs that can end up being the most sensory. So we took our time and pulled over whenever the creative chickadee called. And the further north we got, the more undeniably peak the forest became. Had we driven straight through, we would have reached our destination well before dark. But through the years, I've learned that it's good practice to appreciate what's in front of you while the light shines, instead of constantly thinking about what the future might hold. And so we enjoyed sunset in a place we had never heard of, and arrived at the Mountaintop cabin in the pitch black night. And there's a certain allure in waking up and not knowing what the surrounding area looks like. It makes exploring it the next morning that much more exciting. We were staying at a small cabin on top of a mountain with its own private pond, but the pictures in the Airbnb listing could never capture what it felt like to see it in person. And one of the details that made this trip so memorable was the amount of falling leaves on the property. Anytime you looked out the window or wandered outside, you were bound to catch a few.
This is incredible. It's like Skittles all over the ground. Wow.
And it took a while for the fog to dissipate, but once it did, the sunlight brought the property to life. And after some good coffee and a full exploration of the grounds, it was time to do something we had never done together: kayaking. We've got paddle boards and canoes, but I always overlook kayaks. And watching the light dance on the leaves while the sunshine hit our face was ethereal. And I carried a second passenger with me the whole morning, a lone cricket. And after the paddle, Allie made top-tier breakfast burritos before we headed out on the day's adventure. All right, well, we still got all our oil. We were driving into town to check in on a few places and see what the foliage was like compared to last year, as foliage hunting is ever-changing and it takes years of experience to really pin down how it all works. And while the cabin and the pond were exceptional, it was the last 30 hours of the trip that were everything you could ever ask for from autumn in New England. And I can't wait to share the experience with you in part 2. The shockwave.
His bee's eye.
Wow, and the hummingbird. What time is it? 2, 3? I'm right here. I know. Honestly, every angle looks nuts.